Learned a little goings on in the world. Thoridne went to check in with our quest giver, Sindra Sylvain, who was staying with one of the merchant princes, and discovered that she has preemptively succumbed to the curse, whatever it might be, this soulmonger. And so she was placed in a strange capsule device in a stasis mode. And so she's unavailable, but doesn't appear to be dead yet. Whatever this device is seems to be warding off the curse from completely claiming her. At least her body seems to be frozen in time. We did send a message using the sending spell, a short message, to the leader of the Harpers, Romalia Haventree, back in Baldur's Gate, who I believe Thoridne thanked you for the good work, for the information, and said she'd be trying to reach out if she could from where she's at. I don't think we put any other effort into trying to reach Harpers or anything like that. What we did do, we did a number of things. One of you talked to the harbor master to learn about ships that might be available, things like that, and we noticed some postings for bounties on a number of pirate captains that are apparently operating around the peninsula. We also spoke with, let's see, and Smoke. Didn't recognize any of them, but did we do ascending? Is that what we did, Danny? We did ascending to her old captain to see if he was in the area, possibly to get us passage around Chult, only to discover that he, in his reply, he revealed that he's not the captain anymore. The ship was taken. And was renamed. And the new name of the ship, which the captain knew, suspiciously matches up with one of the ships of the pirate captains. So who knows if anything will come of that. You guys did speak. You met with a merchant prince who, Wakanga, who had given you the task to find Vorn, informed him you had Vorn, but then asked if you could retain him for a little bit for the purposes of repairing him and finding his missing pieces, with the price paid being that you get to use him while you're searching for these remaining pieces. Merchant Prince agreed. Separately, you guys also discussed finding the location of the source of the curse, that you had some good leads, but you need to go to the opposite end. Asked for a little bit of aid, and he was able to give some coin and some guidance on getting around the peninsula, as well as a small bag of gems at the recommendation of a different merchant prince who he didn't meet with, but Wakanga went and conferred with him. At the recommendation, he gave you a small bag of gems and said to give it to the guardian of the bay. So I believe that was next. We kind of off-screen spoken with some ship captains who might be willing to ferry you down to Shilku Bay on the south side. I think that was the destination we were looking at. There's a sailing boat you could hire. The journey would take about 18 days, but that's much faster than romping through the jungle, though it does cost some gold. Other than that, we participated a little bit in one of the executioner runs, placed a few bets, heard the pleas of a woman begging that her husband was innocent and chose to ignore them, and then I think we're set now. We stocked up on some insect repellent, and you get a little boon on that because you probably won't need it on the ships. You hired a guide. You hired the dwarf. I don't have his name in front of me, but we all know the dwarf I'm talking about. One of the local albino dwarves of Chult. He says he knows roughly where Omu is. It's not a place he really goes to, or that his people they try to avoid it, but you got to know where it is to avoid it. So his price being, hey, could you help me with retrieving an artifact or even reclaiming a piece of territory that belongs to my people, which is conveniently close to where he says Omu is, and where you think you know Omu is as well, down by Shilku Bay. So, did I miss anything major? Was there anything major? Oh, right, we were talking to ship captains. We didn't really roleplay that out, but yeah, you can hire a ship that's willing to take you down. It's a little expensive compared to what it would be to charter a ship to, say, Baldur's Gate or one of the normal trade routes, just because nobody travels down there, but doable. Did we have the gold for that? Had you guys figured out your budget yet? You got, I believe, 60 gold from the merchant prince, but the price for 840 miles was going to be 126. So we would still need to come up with another 66 gold, I believe.
I do have, I think, some gems that we can give up.
We have like our own gems, but we don't want to part with the bag of gems we were given because we were told to. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some quartz for 5 pieces at 50 gold each.
Nice.
So, yeah, we got some. We have enough to make it, I believe, without much of a problem.
I think the other option was to potentially go check out Smoke's old ship and see if we could get some money for helping to commandeer the ship back.
And just a side note reminder, here on Chult, and frankly, probably in all of my D&D games, I don't know, I haven't decided, but at least here on Chult, gemstones, precious gems, are, they carry their face value. It's because of the denseness of their value, they're traded almost like another form of currency. So there's no real haggling over gems. If you find a gem worth 50 gold, it's worth 50 gold. That's what people trade it for. That's how the people use it. It's almost like just a gold piece.
The number is printed on the gem.
Yes, exactly. You find a gem in the ground, it comes pre-printed.
Yeah. Naturally grows that way. It's the weirdest thing.
Beautiful. Love it. If Thoridne's cool with parting with some gems, I say we just go that route because it's the quickest. And
I'm
then...
generous and absolutely will.
I guess I should say maybe there's just a standard valuation, a standard way of valuing gems, and so if you get a gem appraised, everyone's going to appraise it the same. It's going to carry the same value. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Well, it sounds like we have what we need, so we're ready to take off.
Okay. This may be a long journey. If you need anything else from civilization, speak now. Do you have spell components that you need or may want in the future? Not that you can't find them, but
I guess I should probably pay the money to get the stuff so I could do the warding bond or whatever it was, because I don't think I have that.
The
warding bond.
The rings.
Yeah, the rings.
I need the rings. It's auto prepared. I can't not prepare it. Which I need. It's 50 gold each. I need 100 gold to be able to do this. Ugh. But yeah.
Wings.
Spells are for nerds.
Yeah.
I am also going to convert what gold I have left into silver powder.
Okay. I just don't know if the spell is worth it. For what we have resource-wise, at least. What I should do is just be on the lookout for some rings.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. At least this go around. Maybe we'll come back with more gold and it won't be such a big hit to your pockets.
I think that we just have better options and better necessities with the gold for right now.
You guys are plotting to go to a abandoned dwarven forge.
We're going to find the one ring, guys.
The only thing that I wish that we could take with us is a bag of holding, which I don't believe you said were available.
Not for purchase in Yanzaru. You may find someone that has one and be able to take it from them. Again, maybe not important in Yanzaru, but in your travels, I mean.
Besides, Post Malone already has the run ring.
Wow.
He does. He bought it.
He did for a lot of fucking money. Like, it was crazy.
It's just a prop recreation that was made for the movies. The real one got thrown into the volcano.
It's actually a Magic the Gathering trading card.
Wizards
of the Coast printed a one ring card, and they only printed one in the entire world.
Well, they printed a bunch of them, but there's only one of this like background and art.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they put it in a random pack, and somebody drew the card and went, "Oh my god, this is crazy," and tried to see what it would sell for to a collector. And Post Malone bought it for like $2 million or something.
Jesus
like that.
Christ! You know, if that had been me, it'd been really hard to take the money when I could take it to a volcano and throw it into throw the card into a volcano, just to be like, "This is what happened, guys."
Guys, it's real life. We gotta stick with it.
But I have to walk all the way to one.
Right.
That would be a trip.
Anyway. Okay. And if you remember something, in the next half hour of like, oh shit, I should have bought this something, we can mildly retcon it. You guys are here for 2 days. We can do some stocking up.
I bought 25 gold worth of powdered silver.
Ooh, very nice.
I think
it's enough to make one flask of holy water. I'm very disappointed.
I can do that for you though. At least you don't have to pay for the thing.
How much is a bag of spell components?
They're pretty cheap, actually. Just a component pouch.
Stemby, I will say, between you and Christina, and if you really need them, Tenzien, you guys could powder silver coins if you need to out in the field. So if you start finding treasure, finding silver.
A component pouch is 25 gold.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm going to convert the 24 gold I have left into powdered silver.
Okay. Or at least silver coins.
Yeah, silver coins. So that becomes 240 silver, right?
Yeah, they're all, it's like metric. It's all ratios of 10.
Yes.
There is a
Since-
banking system here. One of the guild halls runs straight up bank accounts. So that's a thing.
How much would be for a tiny bell and a piece of fine silver wire, so I can cast alarm?
Does it have a price name on it?
Nope.
If there's no gold value on a spell component, as long as you have a component pouch, or I even think a casting focus, it negates the use or need for the
Material.
the material cost for anything that is not a gold value. If it has a monetary value to it, whether that be something that costs 5 silver or that costs 100 gold, you do need that item then, and
Well,
you need to keep track of it.
And artificers are unique among spellcasters in that there's a line in their spellcasting feature that says every spell, even if it normally doesn't have a material component, every spell has a material component for an artificer, and that material component is your tools. You must have a set of tools that you use as your spellcasting focus. So by definition, artificers are always casting with a spellcasting focus. So if it doesn't have a named cost, you don't need the bell. I mean, you can use the bell if you want it for flavor, but artificers mechanically never have to use the bell because they have to use their tools for casting.
Okay.
Or instead of your tools, you can use like an infused item. So if you've infused like a suit of armor or something, you can use the infusion as your focus instead.
Which I do.
Yeah. So by definition, artificers are always casting through a focus because they have to. Like even spells like command. I don't know if you have command, but a spell that normally is like a verbal only, artificer also has material component, which is kind of annoying, but it's whatever.
Okay, good to know.
Okay. We're going on an adventure. Let me make sure I have this pulled up. On the morning of the third day, you all meet down at the docks. You meet up with your guide, who's packed and ready to go, and seems very eager to go reclaim his home. Or at least the gloves of Moradin, which would be great. Getting. Sorry, just making sure I understand what's going here. Okay. You load up on your ship. It's a reasonably sized sailing ship. To smoke to your discerning eyes, it seems in fairly good repair. These are sailors that travel regularly, take pride in their work, keep their ship going. You meet with the captain. The captain's name, if it ever matters, is.
Can it be Jack?
Can it be Jack? I was gonna say Ordame, but Jack is good too. It's Captain Jack. Captain Jack of the ship is called the Wingspan. Captain Jack of the Wingspan ushers you on, takes your coin, so we're going to pay them with gemstones mostly. Well, because you've planned out your trip, you guys may need to settle a little on the back end. He warns you of that. It's like, if we take you further, there will be a further cost. But because you've planned your trip ahead of time to go to Shilku Bay, you guys are all able to look at the map, plot it out. Just in the event anything happens, he asks for the payment up front. Which, if you leave him at the bay, then he's already got his money.
I would like to, as we sail, I'd like to make sure I can track along with the coastline to make sure he's not screwing us.
Sure, absolutely. We might roll for that, but yes, absolutely. It's also, I mean, it's the coast, so hey, you can probably spot it pretty easy. So just to make sure we handle that, Thoridne, you're putting up 2 gemstones worth 50 each.
I can do that. Yes. Wait for
Is
the
that what you
boat, right?
You pay for the passage? Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely can do that. I will turn that on my inventory to now 3.
Okay, and
instead
then
of the
20,
5.
26 gold. I believe Gerald, the merchant prince, gave you 60.
He
So
did go
I'm hoping that's in
Yes.
your inventory, but then I assume the other 26 is coming out of that.
So actually held on to the gold.
I
and
held it, yeah.
Oh, Smoke held onto it? Okay, then you can, however you guys want to pay for your 26. I assume it's coming from there, but hey, you can, make the professor pay for it or something. It's whatever.
No, we'll take it out of there. So 26 out of the bag of gold.
Okay, perfect. I mean, other than that, you guys just have another, 34 gold for you. So that's that.
I'll BRB real quick. I gotta get more water.
Cool. And we set off from Port Nianzaru out into the Bay of Chult. Speed is measured in miles per hour. You guys are going about 2 miles an hour in this ship at full sail, so that takes you to, let's see, these are 10 foot, so 5. So 2 miles an hour, it takes you 5 hours to travel a hex, which is a much faster speed than walking on foot, or even the riverboats. And we make our way out into the Bay of Chult. I'm kind of wishy-washy with the time here, so let me know what you guys are planning on over the course of this trip. Like I said, it's about 18 days to go around. There will probably be interruptions and things like that. I think the only person that had anything particular they wanted to do during this trip was Christina. I think you were wanting to work on boots. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. It'll take two work weeks of work to do it, and you guys are going to be on the ship for longer than that. So you'll probably have these boots done. 10,
Yeah.
probably
I
a
already
little over
have-
halfway through this trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, from the last session that I was a part of, I had 4 days already worked on. Oh, 14.
Right. So, all right, because you got the nat 20, that puts you ahead again. So we will do that. I think that was all days in Nianzaru. Yeah, working on that stuff. Okay, cool. If you want to give me a quick 6 rolls, intelligence with proficiency. If it's easier to just hit your intelligence save, you could do that, but it's whatever. But if you just want to give me 6 of those, just to make sure it's done by the end of the trip.
Yeah. And then my 1d4 for using our tools.
Right. Yeah, you're probably going to pass these easy. All it would do is set you back.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Cool. I'll let you roll those. I'm going to keep narrating. Traveling through the jungle, you guys encountered some pretty oppressive weather at times. There would be heavy rainstorms, light, annoying rainstorms, lots of humidity, occasional lightning flashes, sometimes bright sun with intense heat, and all manner of just misery in this very tropical place. Out on the ship, it's not entirely different. The sun will beat down, though you can escape that under the deck. And when rain comes, it comes hot and heavy. But there's also plenty of wind. You don't have the trees trapping the air and making it stale. And so setting out, it's much easier in the bay, but you see the seas ahead that roil and churn, waves crashing over the bow of your ship occasionally, driven by kind of sawtoothed hills that these like sawtooth hills of water rising from the heaving foam. You see water streams rising off of crags that crash like rivers down from a mountainside. It's very, very interesting kind of place. And you see as you pull away from Nianzaru, you kind of get a good wide look at the jungle. See the mountains off to the west, and the island is kind of emerging from the sea as your ship gets tossed back and forth. And as you're making your way, hours pass, and the first day grows dark. Wow, you did really good rolls on all those. I love it. D4 for the win. Yeah, you're gonna have these boots halfway through the trip. The day grows dark and the ship continues on. And the next day, kind of hugging the coast. You still rolling? You can stop now.
Okay.
Yeah, I only needed like 6, so we're good there. Partway through the second day, you guys are making your way out, and you see a huge blast of steam that erupts from the waves, and kind of the mist kind of drifts up and over and around your ship, creating this kind of rainbow-colored mist as the sun filters through it. And looking over in that direction, you see an immense beak peeking out of the water with a milky eye attached to it, the size of like a hogshead cask. The eye is massive, and it kind of stares blindly in your direction. As the water's calm, it starts to suck in a little bit and then move away, and you see a large form emerging up out of the water. You're just a single day out of Port Nianzaru, and this giant, it's almost like an island rising up out of the water. Looking around, you spot a dozen or so shark fins swirling out with, a couple 100 feet away from the ship. And the captain actually doesn't seem very perturbed by this. But as you look on, the island keeps growing, and the eye and the beak reveal themselves, and you see before you a giant turtle, a giant intimidating dragon turtle. There's actually a little piece of art with this. It's kind of fun. Most parties, I believe, when they do Tomb of Annihilation, encounter this as like one of the first encounters. But we teleported you to the island instead of taking a ship, so you guys didn't get to see him on your way in. This thing is many times the size of your ship. A massive, ancient size turtle coming up out of the water. And it clearly has its attention on you on the ship, and just kind of drifts in your direction.
I will hand the bag of gems to Gerald because he is taller than me and more likely to get the thing's attention.
The captain of your little ship, Captain Jack, kind of wanders in your directions. Smoke, he'd known you had some sailing prowess before. I think you'd kind of mentioned that during negotiations. Sees you with Gerald, sees the two of you, and kind of saunters over and goes, seeing the looks on some of the party's faces, just goes, "So, is this your first time meeting Aramag?"
Yeah, he's a lot bigger than books would lead us to believe. And I am going to push Gerald forward and say, "Go offer our tribute, please."
Okay. Gerald will take the bag of gems from Smoke and kind of tentatively, shyly, very scared, edge his way to the edge of the boat. And
you see the turtle drawing forward, and it doesn't really make any noise. Like it's not speaking or growling or anything. It just kind of drifts up, and in your bright armor, the captain shouts to you like, "Hold it up! Hold it up!" You kind of lift the bag a little more, and the turtle's attention, as massive as it is, you feel like the turtle's attention turns towards you. You have this giant eye focusing on you from aside the ship.
Don't like it. Gerald will hoist the bag of gems above his head and say, "We have an offer for you."
Gerald's getting so many life experiences on this trip, and Smoke has never been prouder.
Oh, thanks, Smoke.
Truly,
Professor
truly
starts puffing on his pipe.
the journey of a boy to a man.
The captain kind of leans down towards you, Smoke, and goes, "What'd you bring him anyway?"
A lot of gems.
A lot? What does that mean?
Like 600 gold worth.
Okay. We'll probably be fine. Back to you, Gerald.
He's just standing
Doing
here
great, son. Wait, what'd you say, Kitty?
I was just saying that Gerald was just standing there holding the bag above his head and he has his eyes closed.
You see a large puff of steam rise up from the water as the turtle exhales very low, very grumbling into the water. Captain shouts, "Well, toss it in!"
Okay. Gerald will yeet the bag of gems.
Yeet.
You see the turtle, as you start to move, you see the turtle turn and its large mouth begins to open. And it's not, conceptually it's not that fast. A turtle can open their mouth, it's whatever, but just the immense size of this thing, it seems like the snout just goes, flying past you as its immense size opens at the rate anyone else could open their mouth. And as you curl back to throw, and the mouth begins to open, you're like, and you just throw it ahead of you. And the turtle shifts ever so slightly, and the bag falls down into its open maw. And kind of, you see the bag kind of clatter, and some of the gems spill out onto the tongue. The turtle slowly closes its mouth and stares. You see the water kind of turning and churning. And then it slowly blinks the eye and turns away. And the ship is kind of buffeted a little bit by waves as the turtle turns and begins to sink its way back down into the water. And you see it slowly start drifting eastward out to the deeper parts of the bay. And the boat kind of rocks. You see a number of the sharks that were milling about. Some continue to mill, but you also see some start drifting to follow the turtle in the direction it's going. All right, well done, lad, well done. All right, you lads, back to work. We gotta get going. Got hours ahead of us. And we continue sailing.
Smoke will give Gerald just like a treat like a sweet treat that she randomly picked up in Fort Nyanzaru, and it's just like, proud of you. Good job. Good job.
Oh, thank you. And I'll take a bite.
Much more interesting encounter if you guys purchase or steal a ship of your own with no crew, or come on without the favor or advice of a merchant prince, and you have to come up with treasure on the fly. But you
Or
prepared.
we're strong enough to just face off against the dragon turtle and become legendary. And then we become the dragon turtles of Portney and Sorry.
Hey! End of campaign.
Yes,
That's
yes.
it.
Love it.
He does speak if you know his language. It's all good.
I might actually. I do know Draconic.
Mhm.
If that's what he speaks. But not like we had an actual conversation with this thing. And I'm not really looking to.
You continue up the coast. Sorry, one moment. You continue up the coast, and the sailing goes pretty well for the most part. Some days are wetter than others. Christina continues to tinker and work on whatever she's building, and the day goes pretty well. You see, you can see from afar the Mistcliff Mountains here. Mistcliff Mountains. You saw them from the other side, deep in the jungle, sort of. But it's interesting to get a full view of the mountains without any trees or rolling hills or anything in front of you. Just immense mountains right up against the coastline. Kind of a big, intimidating sight, but very beautiful. A couple of times, Professor, the ship goes a little farther from the coast. You know, you're a number of miles out, but the captain will insist that, say, it's shorter to just cut straight across, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. I'm not worried about like cutting straight across. I'm worried to
And
make
when
sure.
land comes back into view, you're like, yeah, that feels about right.
Yeah, I'm just want to make sure like one day he just doesn't turn and start heading to the north for
Sure.
like doing something like that. You know.
Yeah.
No?
We end up going. Sorry, I pre-rolled some stuff. This is how many? 560. Okay, so
I've been trying to figure out what Thoridne's going to be doing on this ship, honestly, because he does have medical expertise. Probably be, helping out if anybody gets any like ailments or treating any like maybe somebody got like a bad cut or something that Thoridne can help out with, kind of thing, so it doesn't get infected, they don't get scurvy, that kind of bull crap.
how do you all feel on the ship? I know Smoke loves it, big thing. She had a history of sailing, but what's everyone's opinion of being on ships, being on water?
Professor
There's
doesn't
not
care.
enough space. That's how Thoridne feels. It's okay, but it's just not enough space to do anything, it feels like. Everything feels cramped. And he'll be glad to be on land again.
Smoke's gonna actually just like help out around the ship, like wherever they might need a hand or something like that. Just because she feels weird not doing something when she's on a ship.
Well, the navigator definitely doesn't need your help, but which is I think where primarily your expertise was. But you've got some knowledge. You've helped out with a little bit of repairs and with especially with sighting and sitting atop the mast, because you're a pretty quick scramble up and down with climbing. It doesn't hurt to keep extra eyes out. Professor smokes his pipe the whole way. Gerald, what do you feel about boats? Tenzien?
It's not my cup of tea, but it's not awful right now. So he's doing okay.
It's a lot better than teleporting.
Fair enough. It takes about. Honestly, you're on here for weeks, and the days keep drawing. The sun gets very hot at times. But yeah, no bugs, no anything like that. Just a very long, dragging journey on the ship.
Look how close we are to those undiscovered hexes.
On one side, the scenery kind of drifts along, staying near the coast, so you get to see new things every now and then. But on the other side of the ship, it's just water, just endless water, as far as you can see. At times, you see trees and such peeking out. And the ship turns and begins heading due south. Somewhere around the 12th day, you end up about here. And this is where the professor, just because you were trying to pay attention, this is where the ship really starts turning out into heavier waters, some deeper waters, as the captain looks to cut across Jahaka Bay entirely.
Yeah, it's fine.
Um,
Just as long as we continue to head south, I'm not bothered by it.
Sailing south, you guys vaguely remember mention of Jahaka Bay. This was where the frost giants said to meet them if you knew where to find Artificer. And kind of looking on, as you curve around the southern part of the Mistcliff Mountains, and look in on the bay, trying to see anything, the whole bay just seems to be covered in mist. From what you can make out of the mountains, there's a lot of waterfalls that flow down, and they're spraying their water everywhere from different small streams and rivers and such that come off the mountains. But also it seems to be just like a pocket of between the Mistcliff Mountains and the Kobold Mountains, where a lot of the winds don't blow in. And so a lot of mist in the area doesn't get dispersed by regular winds, and it's almost like this natural cover that's hard to make out anything out. Logically, there's things back there, especially looking at your map. You're like, well, Chult is back there, and we can see mountains peeking up above, but it's like you can't see anything on the ground, lower than like 500 feet in the air. The mountains peeking up. It's like this whole bay is just obscured. But as you continue further south, the hours pass by, you start to get your first looks at the Kobold Mountains rising up. These mountains are much taller than the Mist Cliffs, vaulting at steeper angles, much rockier mountains, with fewer trees dotting the sides as you look closer to the peaks. Not that there aren't trees, just much sparser. And at a couple of points you can see not necessarily peaks. It looks like there's flatter tops and things like that. And you can start to see some of the excitement building in your guide as he spots the kobolds and gets real excited. Occasionally he'll chatter with one of you or another. He'll come up to Tenzien very excited that a dwarven champion has agreed to come on this quest. He's just like, the mighty volcanoes there. We made great works in the forges of the magma. I'm very excited to be home. You will like our home. It's good home. Good forge.
Tenzien will give him a thumbs up.
He kind of points at one of the taller peaks. You can see him pointing kind of in this direction. I'm just giving you the bearing, but he kind of points this way towards the mountains, towards one of the taller peaks, and goes, "There she is, Rakamar. No good entrance on this side was buried, but around the other side is the opening to the Grand Hall. We are very close." And the ships continue south. Another day, another night. Another night, another day. And we travel around.
Can we say that when my boots are done, I take the time to attune to them if that's needed?
Yeah, probably right around there as you guys come back within sight of land. Well, land on your level, not the mountains. You probably never lose sight in the mountains, frankly. But as you guys come closer back into sight of land, the guide starts getting excited, and Christina proudly presents, "Ta-da! I've made boots. Pretty sure they work." And you can try them out if you want to, but they are. Let me remember the name. I believe the boots of striding and springing. Thought I had that page open. I was looking at it just a few minutes ago. Yes, boots of striding and springing. They do require attunement. When you wear the boots, your walking speed becomes 30 feet. If it's already 30 feet, unless your speed was higher, you can have a faster speed. But if your speed's lower, like any of the dwarves, they would get a 30-foot speed. And your speed is not reduced if you're encumbered or wearing heavy armor. So it makes you immune to the speed penalty of heavy armor. And your jump distance is tripled.
I'm going to try them.
All right, what are you doing?
I'm going to go to the front of the ship, and I'm going to jump as far as possible towards the end without jumping off.
Okay. What's your strength?
-2.
Would you, just in case, like me to cast Water Walk on you?
Absolutely.
Sure. Would you like to wait for the 10-minute ritual, or do you just want me to cast it?
We can wait for the 10-minute ritual. It's fine.
Okay. Gotcha. Then there
It's
we
just
go.
on one of your random days, yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations. You have Water Walk for 1 hour.
Oh, good. Okay. Here we go. What do I need to do?
I'm sorry, what's your strength? Score?
-2.
No, what's your score?
6.
6? Oh my god. Okay. So with a 10-foot running start, your normal jump distance would be 6 feet. But this triples it, so 18-foot jump. And the sailing boat itself, no, is much longer than that. So yeah, you go to the stern, and you just leap, and make a this is just fun. There's no point in rolling something, but yeah, it launches you. You looking at Christina's handiwork, the Jakuli skin that you had provided, you can see why they're prized. The material kind of bunches and flexes. It's like your feet feel very, very light. It's almost like you've installed springs under your feet. But they the attunement process as you're working it out, taking some test jumps and things, you're getting used to the weird springy feeling. But if you push down and it really puts some pressure under your feet, as soon as you release forward, pushing off your toes, the heels just kick out and you go launching. Very similar to how you saw those Jakuli jump out of the tree at you. Very, very magical set of boots. But yeah, you're able to jump out and kind of grab one of the ropes near the mast as you swing your way around and land. Pretty graceful, pretty solid. Much farther than you've ever been able to jump.
This is amazing because they are both fashionable and full of utility. I'm so pleased. And I will let Christine scratch my ears.
I don't know, Christina. How much fashion thought did we put into these? What's your fashion sense, Christina?
She is a noble, so the fashion sense is a little bit more exotic than what that is more known in this world.
Are these like shiny like court shoes that we made here? Like some very 1700s colonial like yeah. Oh man, I could dig that.
And I like to imagine they're like blue-green, kind of.
Yeah, depending on the local dyes I can get for coloring. So blue and green may be.
Well,
that's kind of some of the natural some of the natural
Yeah.
coloring of the Jakuli skin. Yeah.
It's probably very pretty.
Yeah, some of the light shimmers off it because one of the other main uses for Jakuli hides, which would take a significant more resource investment and a lot more time, like longer than this adventure. One of the other main uses for Jakuli hides is to make cloaks of invisibility, because of their heavy camouflage capabilities. And so yeah, it's kind of a shimmering, not quite rainbow, but you almost get kind of this rainbow spectrum effect. Kind of like antifreeze, on a primarily blue-green sheen. It's only when you got like kind of direct light source, like a sunlight shining on it, you can kind of shimmer it and get a little effect. Not enough for any real mechanical advantage. It's just kind of a fun quirk. Yeah. And as the ship, Professor, by your measurements, you guys should be coming up on it. And the ship starts to curve more eastward. And on the morning of the 18th day, you curve your way around this little horn here. And you see the large bay opening up ahead, with another mountain range off to the side. A lot of the winds are swirling up through this mountain range, and it doesn't have the same misting effect that Jahaka Bay did. Shilku Bay is much more open. A little mist here and there, but especially on the eastern side, but not nearly as dense. It doesn't like hide the forest, hide the mountains there. You do see, what is this? You do see a kind of an odd river. It's kind of glowing a little bit, and as you look closer, you can see from this mountain peak here, there's a very faint red kind of glimmer flowing down the side of the mountain, and you realize it's actually a lava flow. There's still active like lava flowing down the side of this mountain. From what you've learned from asking in Nyanzaru and speaking with your guide and things like that, there was a town called Shilku, which is marked on your map. You can still there was a town of Shilku there, on the eastern side of the bay, that was destroyed a while back. Let's see. Do I have a time?
Pompeii.
It was destroyed a couple decades ago by a volcanic eruption, and it seems like some of that lava just still kind of casually flows down. It's like that part of the mountain never quite sealed up. Very, very active volcano. A lot of that runs down just into the bay itself. You can see some of the water around here is very discolored, and smells very sulfurous. A lot of that lingering in the air, and a lot of that probably coming directly from that side of the bay. You don't really see much activity in the water, like the waves flow and crash on the side of the ship and things like that, but there's no life playing in the water here. You don't see any fish, any dolphins, even any sharks come to prey on anything, of course. It's the water is probably very poisonous from the sulfur and whatever's flowing in from up in the mountains. And a lot of the surrounding shoreline is also very barren, very dead, at least on the eastern side. The western side has some jungle growing on that side. The eastern shore.
This place is definitely giving me very creepy vibes.
Kind of dig it. Like, as Danny, not as Smoke, but like...
Oh, no, as Zach, absolutely. This is great. But it's Thoridne. It's kind of like a, Well, if we need
and actually
to pull
looking
water, I can purify it, so we're good there.
And looking a little further south to kind of where the mountains jut out here, south of Shilku. At first, you thought maybe it was just an early shadow of the sun rising in the east and taking a minute to crest over these mountains. But then, as the day wears on, closer to noon, you realize the shadow never really faded. And looking closer, it's not mist. It's like dark clouds, dark fog, and following your eyes, trying to see how far the cloud goes, you realize it's ash drifting down from some of the peaks, both the one north of Shilku and probably some ones further inland. Every now and then you see rocks tumble or something. It seems there's active volcanoes around here with ash clouds falling down and things like that. But your captain sticks to the western side of the bay, per original instructions, unless you guys want to change this. But he was going to take you up and land you here.
Perfect.
At the northern tip of the bay. Unless we had a desire to go to Shilku, find out what's there, that kind of thing. But when speaking with your guide, he was... And looking at your map and kind of plotting it out, I believe the original plan a couple sessions ago was to make your way through this small mountain pass here to the Valley of Lost Honor. So yeah.
That's what I had in mind.
Yeah, unless something's changed with the guide, I still think we stick to the plan.
Excellent. Okay, the ship lands here. Yeah, the captain seems pretty pleased with the ease of the voyage. I did make a number of rolls, but there wasn't anything that really wanted to mess with you guys on this journey. Unless you wanted me to go back and we can like have you boarded by pirates or something, but it was a pretty smooth ride overall. Just expensive and really moved the clock forward. But now you've reached the jungle, and I should really double check what your guy's name is because I'm going to be talking about him. His name is...
Is it
Musharib.
Oh, Musharib.
Musharib. Yeah, Musharib. Okay. Good. Yes. Landing at the shoreline. You can see definitely up against the shore for probably a mile or two going inland. A lot of it's just dead. You can definitely smell the strong sulfur smell now. That just kind of permeates everything across the bay. You cough a little bit. There's little bits of ash every now and then that float through the air, and the water. The captain is definitely busting out like the freshwater barrels from the ship, going, yeah, we don't want anything to do with the water here. We're not even gonna try and land and get groundwater here. Not that it can't be fixed. It's just the ship came prepared.
Yeah.
with fresh water.
Well, I mean, like I said, like while I can't really do it for the ship for it to be feasible, like for us while we're traveling, we can still not worry about the water. I can purify food and drink.
Sure.
So that'll protect us from that.
Yeah, purify food and drink. And you still have your travel supplies from the jungle earlier, where you have rain catchers and things such like that. So it shouldn't be too terrible going through this journey.
Oh, it's actually this does a pretty big amount of water. Or area. I didn't realize it's 5-foot radius, 10 foot. That's a lot.
That's a lot. What level is that? First?
It's first level, yeah.
Okay. What level is create water? Do you have create water?
I'd have to look at my spell
okay.
list, which apparently I need to take a long rest. I never did.
I think it's level 2, but it's not a big deal. Yeah. Oh yeah, you all have had multiple long rests by now. So if you need to take a rest, refill all your stats, all your hit points.
It's actually first level.
First level, no, I'll be there.
I can create water, or destroy water if I really want to.
Ooh.
Up to 10 gallons. Destroy waters up to 10 gallons. Alternatively, destroy fog in a 30-foot cube within range. Actually, that's not a bad idea. And then if I use bigger spell slots, I can change that. But I haven't had to worry about having that because we've just had so many ways to get water already.
Yeah.
But I can purify it if we really need to. It'll help a lot, I think.
Sweet, let's go.
Yeah. I guess this is it. We're on foot now.
I would like to keep an ear out for small game at this point to make sure the forest or jungle sounds like a forest or jungle.
Okay. Wait, to hear that it sounds like a forest or jungle?
Yeah, like just don't want to go to a area and all of a sudden it's just dead silent.
Sure.
Eerily silent. I want to be on. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. Like standard animal noises is fine.
Yeah, make me a survival check if you would.
Beautiful.
25.
Excellent. A lot of the same oddities that you see here near the shoreline. A lot of the plant life seems dead until you're a couple miles from shore. Just really poisonous water sources, that kind of thing. So it's a very rocky kind of, a lot of sand, a lot of rock, a lot of driftwood and things like that up against the shore. And moving further inland, it's very open. Not a whole lot of grass. It's very sandy and very rocky for a while. But eventually, you start to see trees again. They're not quite the dense jungle trees that you might see further inland. But there are a fair number of trees. It starts to turn into a proper forest. As far as sounds and things like that, there are you do see signs of animals through here. A little sparser, not as heavy on the game side, but there are occasional pigs and smaller animals like squirrels and things like that permeate through the forest. Little quieter, but not dead quiet like everything's abandoned this place. Just it's not quite as safe to live around the volcanoes kind of quiet. Yeah. Plenty of birds, things like that, things that can move, not get trapped. You guys make a little bit of headway on the first day, but it was already a little past noon by the time you landed, so you're able to just kind of make your ways inland, just up to the tree line, and then the guide recommends camping for the night. Build up our strength for a full romp the next day.
And I absolutely apply my bug slough, like, no question.
Back to using the bugs repellent. Yeah. Are all of you doing that? Putting on bug repellent
I'll take
right
my
away?
chances
Yeah,
on the
of
first day.
course.
Yeah.
I will.
professor's gonna gamble.
Gonna gamble?
Professor's gonna
Well-
be miserable.
Well, let me know when you start using it, if you use it.
Next day.
I'm sensing that the professor might have a gambling problem.
I'm also hella suspicious we didn't run into anything on the entire ship ride down here.
Same.
The,
Same.
the professor will
It's
absolutely put
too
bug spray on the
easy.
next day.
Next day, got it. I didn't make. Oh my gosh! Every now and then you find you made an oversight. I didn't make a mini for Musharib. That's okay. He can still be the other.
He's the
thing.
train. He's our engine.
Yeah, he can pretend to be Echo for a session, if it comes up. Let's see. Do we have any random encounters? Let me roll for that and see what we get.
Oh, see, all I had to do was open my mouth about it.
Well, no, I rolled other ones too, but y'all actually had a pretty uneventful boat ride, frankly. See, this is mountain terrain.
Well, I, for one, am glad that we didn't have to do an oversea fight. That was the whole reason I prepared water walk, because I'm like, man, if something bad happens and suddenly the ship sinks, we're in trouble. Or if somebody gets knocked off the ship, that's a problem.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Isn't it a touch spell?
Water walk? I'm not sure. Let me look at it real quick. It is 30 feet. And I can either cast it or I can cast it as a ritual, which is nice.
Very cool.
And it's just a liquid. I mean, if this is like a pond full of poisonous acid, you can just walk across it. And,
You can walk
and I'm
across lava.
assuming you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. You still take damage from the heat.
Meh.
Unless you're, immune to fire, then you're fine. That said, to be fair, even though lava is a liquid, it's so dense, it works like I don't know if you've ever seen those videos of Newtonian fluids, where it's basically that really like dense cornstarch solution, where it's like, if you stop moving in it, you'll sink down like it's liquid. But if you're like moving fast enough and giving enough force, it gives you enough ability to actually walk across it. Like lava's like that too. Lava's too dense for anything to sink underneath it. Now, it'll still burn the fuck out of you really, really fast because it's liquid rock, but it's still very dense. I don't know what it would feel like if you were walking on it.
And this
Don't
was
wanna
the
really imagine.
science minute with Blue.
Yeah, I know
Exactly.
things. Well, I mean, I figured give Nathan some time to figure out his role and what he's potentially killing us with.
This will be exciting,
If it's taken this long, something's coming.
right?
Yeah.
I hope so, at least.
On the first day, traveling up into the jungle, you don't really see much in that regard. Every now and then, circling overhead, you see a couple of flying creatures, and looking closely, you kind of make out they're very feathered. You make out it seems like it's maybe a scouting party of Aarakocra, just flying overhead, but they're very much keeping their distance. It's kind of like you get the impression maybe they've seen you, but they're not making any moves to attack. It doesn't seem aggressive. They just kind of keep flying, maybe mark your presence, and then you see them fly back to a mountain peak out of view.
There was a thing about bird people, wasn't there?
I think there were like
There
pterodactyl
was.
people
Oh.
or something like that.
Right, because
I thought that was the thing. It was like there were pterodactyl people for sure with the other lady guide, but then there was rumors about bird people holding prisoner somebody, and we're like, is it the same kind of people? We're not sure.
You learned that the bird people had a temple or some kind of other civilization at Kirsabal.
Oh, okay, that's
way
way
up here.
different.
Yeah, that they, it's rumored that they're holding the last heir of the Chilton royal family or something there.
Just a side note, I love that this place, now that I'm looking at it, is Ataz Mwahaha.
I know, right?
Where are you looking? Oh, yeah.
Just a little bit north of it. It's funny.
A little better than Dungrunglung. But yeah. Capital of the Grung. The second day of travel, or rather that night, roll a die. Okay. Professor, you're that night, the first night here, you guys set up camp. No, not the first night, the second night, the day after you saw the Aarakocra. So you travel, you go one day inland. That night you guys set up camp. After the first day of traveling through the jungle entirely. And it's a rather restless sleep for you. You start having really stark dreams, lots of nothing in particular, but it's you when you finally burst yourself awake, it's like they were very terrifying dreams. Lots of dreadful visions of specters and crying souls and blood in city streets and things like that. Just very, very haunting. Very unrestful. And you feel so exhausted the next morning. It's almost like you didn't even rest. You're feeling so very drained.
Okay. So
But you guys pick up. So I mean, it no mechanical change this time, but
cool.
functionally you didn't get the benefits of a long rest. But actually, go ahead and make me a Constitution save if you would.
Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You suffer no negative effects, but you're just kind of hardy. You're able to power through, but it's like you went a night without a long rest functionally. And this was after you applied bug spray. It's not because of your bug, because you found bugs or anything. But you guys continue on. At some point, you stumble across a camping spot. Maybe looks like someone might have crawled here with not a lot of supplies. Either the supplies were to have been scavenged, or they just never had any in the first place. But it's kind of the charred remains of a humanoid. Looking at them, the parts that aren't charred, you piece together this might have been like an elf. No real clue who it is, but it's inside. They're partially inside the mouth and charred body of a large constrictor snake.
Is the constrictor snake alive?
No, both are very dead. Both are charred and dead. In fact, it looks like it's been a while. They've kind of been picked away at by scavengers. You can see the snake itself is mostly a skeleton at this point.
That was going to be my next question, was how fresh?
No. Mostly a skeleton at this point, the elf as well, but you can definitely see the large charring and burn marks. It's not just they died and picked clean. It's like there's some of the bones are blackened. And very strange.
And the elf was inside of the snake?
Yeah, halfway inside its mouth.
So if we aren't, I think it should be said that we set up a watch rotation for every night that we camp.
Yeah, I think that just went without saying.
I would think so, but it doesn't hurt to say these things out loud.
Yeah, that evening, as you try to find an appropriate campsite, you see you find a decent clearing with some softer foliage that you might be able to bed down in, and someone got there first. You see a folding camp stool is the skeleton of another humanoid.
Oh.
You can and there's no packs or anything around. There's no packs or anything around them. It's just this stool is left with skeleton sitting there.
Just
and
like, what kind of a position? Like,
bent slightly forward, like they have bad posture in a computer chair. And you see clutched in one of their bony hands is a knife, not like a dagger or anything, but just like like almost like a butter knife or something, for eating. And in their other hand is clutched a fork. And they're sitting there like maybe they were eating something. But it's a skeleton, dead in the chair.
can I do a medicine check on this skeleton to try to figure out cause of death?
Again, can I roll for guidance to give him a +4
Sure.
or a
Yeah.
D4?
You should be able to do Spark of Genius, or is that a higher level?
One, that's a level 7 thing, but 2, guidance is a cantrip. You just add a d4 to an ability check. Yeah.
Here, we'll do this, and then we'll add the 1d4. So 25 heal check.
Nice.
There we go. That's a check right there.
Yeah, investigating the skeleton, it's strange. The posture it's in, I mean, this clearly wasn't any sort of struggle or anything like that.
That's what I'm picking up on. I'm
This
like,
guy's sitting here
why?
with a knife and a fork in his hand, you know. Unfortunately, basically all of the flesh is gone. You see a handful of rags. There's a pair of boots that the skeleton's in, but a lot of the bags have been eaten away at as well by insects or other jungle life.
But the bones. What do the bones tell me?
Yeah, the bones. Looking them over, you don't see any marring, any signs of trauma. None of the bones were broken, like his skull wasn't crushed in or something, which in itself is that's a sign. You know, there was no. It's not like this guy was stabbed and it chipped away at a rib or something like that. Piecing together the information you have, but with your medical expertise, you're like, this might have been. The guy had to have just died sitting here. So perhaps it was poison or something similar. Maybe he even got bit by like a venomous snake or something. Just in your medical expertise, based on the skeleton alone, you don't have skin color to check or anything like that. But just based on this and the lack of any other trauma, you're like, it had to have been a problem of the flesh that is no longer here, and a problem that left him in this position. So pushed a little bit, camped. The second day you guys pushed on, found the constrictor. You had bad dreams, and then
Okay.
So I guess this would be the third day. Yeah.
Right. At the end of this day, like, we're here at this campsite, and then they think he's been poisoned. I would like to cast Detect Poison.
Oh.
Detect poison and disease. Interesting. Okay. Let me just double check what that
It's in chat.
looks like here. For the duration, you can sense the presence and location of poisonous creatures, diseases within 30 feet of you. Also identify the kind of poison. Each case the spell can penetrate most barriers was blocked by a footstone. Okay. You do not sense any poisonous creatures, diseases, anything like that around the campsite. Kind of similar to detect magic, you go walking around, kind of sweeping, trying to find it. You're not sensing any poisonous creatures or anything in the area here. Campsite seems pretty secure on that front.
Okay. I let the party know there's no disease or poison here. We should be fine. It's just a dead body.
Okay, as long as you don't detect a poisonous creature, Smoke's willing to risk it.
I mean, the next question is, does this look like a game trail at all?
A little bit off of one. It's kind of like just by happenstance, a number of trees didn't grow here, and so it's a nice kind of wider opening in the jungle floor that could be big enough for a camp of your size.
All the trees aren't suddenly the same, are they?
What do you mean? Suddenly the same? What do you mean?
Well, that's a thing in like South America. I think they call them devil's circles or devil rings or something like that. Literally, there's just a tree that just takes over an area. I think it's a specific kind of tree, and you don't want to. I think it's the ones that like have exploding
not have a
bark or
cantrip?
seeds or something.
I thought I had
Oh
cantrips.
no, not
They're
like that,
nasty.
no.
Yeah, they're nasty things.
And it
Or it's
doesn't
like a
look
bug
like
thing, one of the two.
it doesn't look like this was a planted grove or anything like that either. It's not. No, it's just a wider opening in the trees that you could set up some tents.
Okay, but there's like no clear-cut pre-existing path here. It's just kind of an opening.
No. This area isn't exceptionally traveled. You do see a little passage of maybe animals through here, but it's not like this is a common game trail or anything like that.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not going to wind up being somebody's dinner.
I mean, you might be, but
Yeah, but I mean, like, I understand random happenstance. I don't want to set up a buffet.
right.
Yeah, Christina is going to put like her right hand over her heart as she starts chanting and casts alarm around the perimeter of the campsite.
So we're setting up a watch and taking a lot more precautions now in this part of the jungle, huh?
Pretty much.
All right, setting up for the evening. How many watches we doing? Who's taking? I suppose it'd be 4 watches through the night. Who's taking
Gerald
first
will
watch?
offer to take first watch.
Smoke will too.
I'll take last watch. I'll do it in the morning.
Okay. So first watch is Gerald and Smoke. Second watch is who?
Christina will volunteer for the second watch.
Second watch, okay. Third watch, who wants to stay up for that? Professor, Tenzien,
I'll take it.
you take it? Okay. And the fourth watch is Thoridne. Okay. Let's see. Smoke and Gerald, if you can make me perception checks, either both of you or one of you can help the other and make it with advantage.
Do you want to roll or do you want to help me?
I'll help you because I have a -1.
$26. Okay. Keeping a close eye as the sun kind of fades, and it kind of grows dark a little earlier than you're used to just because you're so close to the mountains on your western side. You start hearing some nocturnal animals coming to light, coming to wakefulness as the night falls. New chitterings and things like that out in the jungle. But your watch goes fairly uneventful. Yeah. Second watch. Wait, so who was second? Christina?
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to make me a perception check as well. Eight. All right. You stare off into the darkness, and you at some points it feels like the night might be playing tricks on your eyes. You see odd shimmerings through the jungle that then you go look closer at, and nothing jumps out at you. You might see a strange light and look to Kronk for his advice to see if he sees it too, and he kind of looks and doesn't know what you're talking about. And okay, well, it's probably just the jungle playing tricks on you. Kind of an odd, deep darkness out there with a very overcast sky. It's hard to penetrate through.
Yeah.
And as your watch kind of goes towards its end, you're just starting to think about waking the professor to take over watch, and he jerks awake. Professor, you started having these dreams again.
Okay.
You started you more like dreadful visions. The something kind of eating away, very unrestful sleep. That's just kind of taken at you, and you find yourself jerking awake. If you get out of the trash. If you can make me another Constitution saving throw, please. 15? Okay. It's get away. Constitution saving throw. Okay, 15, good. Yeah, you find yourself having trouble getting back to sleep, and Christina looks over and goes, "Hey, it's about that time." Okay, time for the watch. Ooh, slap your cheeks a little and go looking around. Wisdom 17. So you take over the watch, and looking at the darkness around you, every now and then you see a critter water past. You think there might be a snake up in the tree, but it doesn't really get close. Doesn't seem like it wants to come bother you guys. But you feel that draining horror left over from the dreams you were having. But nothing comes to attack you during your watch. And for the fourth watch of the night, Thoridne, I believe.
Yes.
If you want to make me a perception check, please.
Perception. Can I give myself guidance? Is that a thing?
As long as because it lasts for a minute. If you keep recasting it for 2 hours.
Oh, no.
Your friends might get annoyed at you until you stop making noise.
Fine. We're good. I rolled well.
23. Okay. Professor, you try to lay back down and fall into a more restful sleep, and you get a little bit.
I guess during my time awake, I would like to sketch what I can remember.
Sketch what you can remember? Okay. Yeah, your drawings involve a lot of it's very formless, and so your sketches start coming out almost like asylum patient drawings of
Excellent.
Formless, shapes that have faces on them. It's you're struggling to put to paper what you feel were like souls looking at you, or screaming voices and things like that. Yeah, but you start sketching out some of that, and it's very harsh lines and things like that. You don't feel it affecting you as you're awake. It's like you're feeling tired, exhausted, but that was the dreadful feeling. You're trying to put that the feelings you had during your dream. You're trying to put that to paper. And you lay down for a little bit during Thoridne's watch for the last 2 hours of the rest before day breaks. And you're able to. The dreams don't come back to you this time. You're able to get some more sleep. But it still feels like you didn't quite get the rest you should have. But you suffer no other effects. There's no exhaustion or anything like that.
Okay.
Thoridne, for your rest, you don't see anything come to attack you guys, but at a certain point, as the sky starts to lighten a little bit, you see there's a bit of a break in the clouds above, and you're able to make out stars, something that isn't a common sight here in Chult, because there's typically so many clouds in the sky.
Oh.
Ironically, kind of similar to Houston, actually. How often do you get to see the stars?
Power outage.
Hurricane?
Citywide, yeah.
Right.
Hurricane.
So it kind of breaks through, and you're able to make that out. It's kind of a beautiful morning. And then, in the last 20 minutes, as you're getting ready to wake everybody and start the day, Yeah, the cloud rolls overhead and starts sprinkling on you guys. So it's getting a little wetter. Good start to the day.
Good
Well,
work.
nothing attacked you on your watch.
Good.
We move deeper into the jungle. And where were my notes? They are here. Okay. Okay. You start getting into some a lot more of a hilly terrain as you're coming up to this not quite a mountain pass, but the two mountain ranges are have this big opening that's got some jungle here, and so it's a lot more elevations, ups and downs between the low mountains you see to each side. And as you make your way into this territory, Musharib kind of halts you at one point and goes, look, it's early, it's maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. He kind of halts the group at one point and goes, I think something might be watching for us nearby. And he's like kind of carefully scanning the trees.
I ask him what he thinks it is.
1 sec, I'm looking. And then he looks upward at one of the trees and goes, oh shit, where is my notes? Why can't I find things quickly?
When did this become Predator?
Right? Can't find my notes.
The moment we landed.
There it is. He kind of looks up into one of the trees and goes, and you hear him in those of you that speak Dwarvish, you hear him say this in Dwarvish. He's like, CT, you can't hide from me. Get down here. Put that down. What are you doing? And you kind of follow his gaze up and blended in very well. You didn't spot it until you could follow his gaze. But covered in leaves and everything for camouflage is another albino dwarf up in the trees, kind of staring at you guys with a javelin in hand.
Not what I expected, but okay.
She becomes visible to all of you as she starts to move, but a female dwarf starts climbing her way down the tree, having recognized Musharib. They kind of look and they start chattering in Dwarvish. And he's gone, City, what are you doing out here? With this is so far south. Is it just you? And then she's going, Musharib, I thought you were still up in Port Nianzaru. No, we're here to check out the mine, the Wormheart. There's got to be something in there that can help us. And you kind of gather as they chatter back and forth with each other. Musharib tells her that he's taking you guys to Rackhammer to go investigate the forge, and she starts, as she's explaining, she keeps saying we are doing this. We're looking for the Wormheart mine. Apparently there's a mine near here where that used to be operated by dwarves that lived in this area. It was not lost in the volcano eruption that took Rackhammer, but was apparently taken over by some powerful beast, and the dwarves were driven out a while back. They talk about this in very familiar tones, so you're kind of losing a couple of details in the middle of it, but that's kind of what you can piece together because they're not turning and explaining anything. You're just kind of picking up on what they're saying.
Are they continuing to speak in Dwarvish?
Yeah.
Okay, can I do a perception check to see if I can gain more information since I do speak Dwarven?
I think almost everyone in the party speaks Dwarven, don't we? Except Smoke and Gerald.
Nope, Gerald speaks it.
Gerald speaks Dwarven, so it's literally Smoke is excluded here.
I was trying to make a joke at Gerald's expense, but Gerald called me on it.
Sure did.
Just a whole party of Dwarven speakers.
Well, there's nothing to make out necessarily, Christina. I mean, they're not hiding their speech; they're just speaking in Dwarvish. That's all it is. And I was kind of, what's the word? Shortening the conversation, just because I didn't feel like having two people talk to each other. But you can interject if you want to.
Yeah, I go up to the two of them. Master Dwarf, what is this beast that you speak of that drove your kin from the mine long ago? Well, this is all in Dwarvish.
Hmm? Oh, that's Zindalor. Fucking prick. He's some tiny red dragon. Thinks he's all high and mighty. But unfortunately, he does have that stupid fire of his. And a little bit of a following, I'm sure. Probably kobolds or some other muck by now. This was a while back. This was 40, 50 years ago. We lost the mine. We've mostly given up on it. It's nothing much in there. Well, there is, but it's not as important as this rack hammer. Please go away. Thank you. Sorry, dog keeps trying to get my attention. Keeps booping me. Wants treats. He's fine. But the other, he's kind of dismissive of this mine. Musharib is. But the other dwarf, who he had called Sethi, she's a little more insistent on it. She's like, no, Zindalor is a threat. If we could drive him out, we could reclaim part of the mine. We could go back under. We could get supplies, something that might help us take Rackhammer. This is an important outpost. See, and besides, he doesn't own that mine.
Can Thoridne interject?
Sure.
Thoridne will in Dwarven just be like, "Who is this Cinderdor?"
I'll drop the name in chat.
Okay. I mean, quite literally, Thoridne may have just not heard the name right. Zindalor. Okay.
Zindalor, yeah. Zindalor, he's technically he's a dragon, a red one. Little prick though. He's not so mighty as he thinks.
Is he a young dragon or older?
He's probably pretty young. He's not that big. Maybe kind of looks at maybe 2-3 dwarves long. He's not that big.
I'll look back at the party and be like, huh? Maybe we help them?
I mean, we're already going in there to deal with the fire newts, right?
Yeah, in the other forge area, that's days travel from here. Maybe it would be worth our time to find this mine and extract this dragon out of it.
Smoke is down. Yeah. Seems like a good time.
Gerald nods along.
It is always better to deal with a threat when it's still in its infancy than wait a couple hundred years until it's more of a nuisance.
Yeah, see, Musharib, these people get it. What? Who are you?
Thoridne will introduce himself. I am Thoridne Ironhammer. I'm a cleric of Brennanar. But these are my companions. We are here in Cholt looking for an item called the Soulmonger, and we're here to put an end to it, however that is, to destroy it or turn it off. It is causing a lot of problems in in magic right now in the entire weave.
Aha. And this thing is in Frackhammer?
I do not believe so. I believe it is actually potentially in this old city of what's it called again? Anon or something? I'm looking at my party. I don't remember. We've said it so many times, and I don't remember the name of this city that we're potentially thinking that this thing is at.
Tenzin
Right.
makes an O with his hands and waits for
Omu. Omu.
and then snaps and finger guns at him.
You're taking them to Omu? Bah! Yeah, we go to Omu after Frackhammer. Well, maybe. But I figure we would have a much easier time going to Frackhammer first. We go reclaim the gloves. We rally the people, and then we can assault Wormhurt with many of the clans instead of just whoever you've brought with you. You're putting the egg before the chicken. It's no good. You make the head first, and then you put the haft on. You don't go searching for the perfect haft. Now you see them kind of arguing back and forth, still bickering, but yeah, they seem to think there might be something in this mine that's nearby, and every now and then you see one of them motion at the nearby hills. They clearly are both aware of this place, but the Wormheart mine.
Well, how do people feel about this?
I say let's go.
And-
Let's do it.
Can
Sounds like we
I
got-
roll a nature check to try to figure out what sort of weaknesses a young red dragon will have?
Sure. Roll me a nature check.
Add a guidance onto that.
Yeah, and guidance.
Well, thinking about what you know about dragons, a red one is probably the most obvious. It is in all the children's tales. It's the classic fire-breathing dragon, and it lives at the foot of a volcano. So most likely it's It's probably immune or at minimum resistant to fire. So going in and shooting it with a fireball probably isn't the wisest move.
Yeah.
As far as any weaknesses, based on the description of how the dwarves were describing it earlier, it's still probably pretty young, making it not as big a threat as a full-grown dragon would be. Though it clearly was strong enough to drive out an entire clan of dwarves and hold it for a number of decades. So that's pretty dangerous. From what you know about dragons, they're strong, they're big. It's very hard to, knock them off their feet or poison them or crush them or things like that. But they're not always the fastest, the most dexterous. And despite their high intelligence, they can be tricked. So they're sometimes lacking in the dexterity or wisdom department. But you're gonna have a tough time brute forcing a dragon, so to speak.
And
Tend to have, yeah.
if we're going to be taking on this young red dragon, I would recommend that we will prepare fire resistant spells. And then spells to support our front line against any melee attacks.
Tenzin will just flex at Christina.
Bashar kind of puts his hand on his temple and goes, "Oh, you can't seriously be considering this, really? We're so close. It's only 5 more days and we reach Rackhammer. We just go straight in there."
Smoke will raise her paw and just say, considering how often things try to eat me, I would like some kind of fire resistance. But I'm down for going towards the dragon because we're here right now.
And we can consider this dragon as a warm-up. Or it's been quite a bit of time since we actually had combat.
Warm up against the fire dragon. Oh.
Right. But also, there's just the logistics of if we start getting loud dealing with the fire newts, I don't want the dragon to come sniffing out of curiosity. And then we have dragon and fire newts to deal with.
I personally don't think that would end up being an issue, but I don't know. I think I'm under the guise of if we're doing the dragon, there's going to be dragon treasure. Dragon treasure usually has some good stuff in it.
Hey, yeah. Even better.
Yeah, the other thing kind of making this easier to pick the dragon right now is because we are in fact right here. I think after being on,
I'll take the chances if it'll
like,
make the dreams go away.
Smoke's gonna look over at the professor and just go like, what?
Disheveled paper out of his pockets. What?
All right, so I guess I suppose then we're going to this mine.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so that's Thoridne's good with helping with this. So that's Thoridne, Smoke, Gerald. Tenzien sounded like he's ready to kill a dragon. And then the professor was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? The dreams could stop." And we're all kind of like a little confused by that, but it sounds like everybody's in agreement. We're going to go fight a dragon. Hooray!
Okay. Forgive me, I'm fixing the map.
Okay.
Making sure this is all working. Okay, good. I think
And
it
we have
works.
three dwarves in the party, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have 3 dwarves.
Among you master dwarves, which one of you will be in the front line so I can cast Long Strider?
Probably Tenzin.
Yeah, I point at the Barbarian. Yeah, he's going to run to the bathroom a lot.
Sorry, you can talk a little bit more. I'm making sure I understand what this mine looks like. Okay. You're casting.
Oh, since he's trying to figure that out, the thing that I was trying to look up earlier about it's Devil's Garden.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of trees that are kind of almost culminated because it's the like couple favorite trees of like a certain ant species, so they kill off all the plants competition. So it's just those trees. And literally a lot of animals and stuff will not go into those areas because ants.
I love that. Gerald, take notes.
Ants.
Got it.
I get it. I get why you said Gerald. No, that's funny.
Okay, so here's what we know. The mines, the quickest way in is probably one of the mine carts. I know there's probably the tracks in there are still probably good, and from scouting we can see some carts near the top. Though we try not to get too close because you see, Zindalor has attracted a little bit of a following. He's got some kobolds in there that they don't stand up to us individually, but there's a lot of them, and they make a lot of noise. That's been one of the hardest things, is approaching and getting through the kobolds. But there might be a couple of methods. I don't know. Care to come with and scout it out? Yeah?
Let's go.
Okay. Please work, please work, please work.
Right.
The okay. Now the tunnels in there are somewhat cramped. You sure you can do this? You want to take on a dragon? We were just going to sneak through and see if we could steal supplies.
You're Nathan. Heads up, you're missing a wall right here.
I don't know where you're looking. Say it again.
You're
Where?
missing a wall
Oh, cool.
right there.
Yeah, not the end of the world.
Okay, just letting you know.
Here, we'll draw one real quick.
Gotta love Foundry.
Cool, neat. Anyway, we were just gonna sneak in and see if we could steal supplies out from under the kobolds. But if you're just planning to go clean it out, reclaim the mine, I mean, that's doable. But I don't know how much help we'd be in a fight.
Oh, don't worry. I believe Tenzien can handle all the kobolds.
And kind of looking at this sea thief lady, she's not really wearing any armor. It's more camouflage for the jungle, and she carries like javelins and a sling at her belt, but she's clearly not equipped for heavy combat like you guys are used to. And through discussions, you learn that there's a handful of other albino dwarves out in the jungle, either scouting various locations or things like that. And you just happen to run across her. You could take time to gather them, but again, they're all outfitted very similarly. So they haven't really outright attacked it because they're pretty sure that they would just die to a dragon. But so they're kind of hesitating to go in guns blazing with you guys. So if you're doing this dungeon assault, it might just be you.
Totally fair.
Without the dwarves.
The game is paused, so we can't move.
Sorry. Looking at the area here, you see a couple of buildings outside. I have you on the map so you can see it, but I'm assuming we're doing a little bit of scouting from further away at first. You see a building on the left. The walls are made of like a closely fitted stone with some large windows on it, and then a wide overhanging tile roof that's now just overgrown with vines and creepers and everything. But the structure seems actually still pretty solid. Solid stone. The building on the right is larger. It's also made from closely fitted stones with the tile roof, but there's no windows on this one. Portions of the wall are crumbling where you can see like tree roots are pushing the stones apart. And there's gouges and scars that show where someone tried to hack through the heavy stone door with axes, but kind of gave up partway through without making a lot of headway. But yeah, big stone doors, big building, no windows on the right, windows on the left. And then ahead, you can see, with their help, they point out where there's, you can see a cart track heading deeper into the mine. And there's actually an ore cart that sits on the tracks at the entrance to the mine, just held in place with like a block under the wheels. What's our approach? What are we thinking here? Just sprinting as fast as we can? What are we up to? What are we doing?
Well, I'd like to check out these two doors right here.
Okay. Oh, of course it unlocks. Well, that's okay. Why does things not do what I want them to? Walls are missing, doors are open. Great. This is why I pause games. Where are we going first? You're just going to them simultaneously?
Well, if they're locked, I might need to unlock them, but yeah, just to see what's in these front rooms.
Okay, what are we resolving first? So, Smoke, you're going up to the building on the left.
Yeah.
You see the door is swollen shut. There's like wood elements to it that are like there's a big stone door on the right, and this one is more of a wooden door. It could probably be forced open. There's also windows there too. There's no real lock or anything. It's more just a stuck door.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I guess I'll just kind of sleuth forward, maybe like here, to see if I can sneak in and try to get just an idea of like numbers in this immediate area.
Okay, Smoke is leaving the building behind and entering the mine. Tenzin, you were going to the bigger building on the right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, you see the door here has a lot of gouges, a lot of slashing marks on the outside, like someone tried to hack away at it, but it's a bigger stone door. But yeah, what are you thinking with this one? There's no windows on this building.
The door is locked.
It's hard to tell if it's locked or again just stuck. A lot of overgrowth on the ground, a lot of dirt buildup over time.
Can I like lower my shoulder and like try and jab it open? I'll just give it like one shove, and if it doesn't go, then I'll follow Smoke.
Sure, athletics check. Boom. You hit the door thinking, okay, someone's tried this. It should be somewhat difficult. Let's see what it does. Pop! You just like break the hinges on the door and slam it to the ground. And you kind of look at it like, wait, what's wrong with this? Okay, clearly whoever tried this was a wimp. Like this was not a hard door at all. What is this? Not just because you're 23, but like that door, it was like you put in way too much effort for what it was actually required. It just clunk opens up. Looking inside, there's dozens of crates and barrels that are stacked inside. Several have been toppled over by tree roots growing beneath them. At first glance, it looks like it's mostly just food, maybe water. Yeah, I'm sorry. Were you were wanting to go poke around inside?
I might just like take a look.
Okay. A lot of the stored food and water is generally inedible, but a lot of the other supplies look somewhat usable. It's a lot of tools for mining, for stoneworking, for ironworking. There's shovels and lanterns and candles and miners' helmets and heavy gloves, axles and spare wheels and brakes for the mine carts. All kinds of goodies inside. Just
Tenzin will take one of the mining helmets and put it on. Safety first, right? And then head back outside.
Excellent. High wisdom right there.
It is wisdom is the highest of his intelligence or of his mental stats. So yes, it is.
Question: is there anything behind this building at all around this general area that may have been obscured while we were kind of like scoping it out earlier?
Sure, make an investigation.
Yeah. Great.
You said the minecart was blocked?
No, just this.
You see a lot of trees and heavy roots that are starting to encroach on the building, toppling it over. But you don't particularly notice any other like hidden pockets or holes in the rock or anything like that.
Hey, you never know. There could have been a secret passage in the mine somewhere.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. All right, I am going to try to be sneaky, to get us some information. Do you need a roll?
I'm going to cast guidance onto Smoke.
You're gonna sneak into the jungle or into the cavern. Is everyone sneaking with her, or is it just Smoke?
I think we're just letting Smoke do it for right now.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll stealth for me.
And can I cast guidance?
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
And just be mindful as we get deeper in the mine, especially guidance on stealth. Guidance does make noise when you cast it. May not be a big deal here at the entrance, but just keeping that in mind.
Okay.
You said this minecart was has blocks under the front of it, right?
Yeah, there's a block under the front wheel, keeps it from rolling forward. It's a metal box. Actually looks pretty solid, though one of the axles is slightly broken. You can just kind of see it from the outside. But yeah, it's sitting there. Had a block under the front wheel.
Looking at it, go, hey, Christina, can you mend this?
Certainly, no problem. Christina casts Mend on the broken wheel axle.
Okay. Let me tell Smoke what she sees real quick. Inside the mine, you see the cave opens up into a enormous pit that is, what is this, about 60 feet across. And you kind of look over the edge and look down, and you see a handful of lights deeper in, so you can kind of make out some distance. This thing goes deep. It's like 250 feet probably to the bottom. There's a stout stone column in the middle that supports the roof. And there you can see across, there's like a wooden walkway that spans the pit from north to south. Though, make a perception check if you would. 23, all right.
And then plus the never mind, the guidance. Oh, is guidance only the one time?
Yeah, in Baldur's Gate 3 it lasts for a minute, but in tabletop it's the next ability check.
Okay.
Yeah. You can see that walkway kind of curves around the outer pillar, so you probably could walk straight across to whatever's at that other side. The tracks for the ore cart descend around the walls of the pit in that clockwise fashion. And you actually see a number of cracks where like daylight filters through, so it kind of creates this dim illumination throughout the whole place. You don't really see any. Goodness, what is this? Why is it like this? That's what I get for prepping stuff. You don't really see any kobolds or anything wandering around this upper level. Despite the warning that they're here, you don't really see it, but you do see random signs that, like, well, one, there's lights on in certain places, a handful of torches on walls. So clearly someone's here, and it's relatively active. But looking down, you're not seeing active movement or anything like that. The very bottom, at the very bottom of the shaft, it's hard to make out just because it's so far away in the dim light. But you think you see it shimmering slightly, like there might be water at the bottom. At the very bottom of this giant pit. Tenzien, if you could roll me a stealth check, please. Oh,
Did.
good. There it is. Perfect. 17. Okay. Yeah, you see a lot of the same stuff. You do see various openings, but the minecart descends. It's like this clockwise downward spiral that goes down.
Cool. So I'll go back to the group. Does it look like we could fit people into the minecart?
Sure. Yeah, it's more of an ore cart, but yeah, you could fit. Let's see, how many? Is there a limit? The ore cart could probably fit maybe 2 people.
Oh, well.
Three with one of them smoke.
Yeah. Is the ore cart functional again?
You cast mending on it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Make me an investigation check if you, Christina.
Okay.
While she's rolling that, Smoke will turn to Tenzin and say, maybe our quickest way to get down would be to follow this bridge across. There might be some stairs on the other side we can take down.
Tenzin will kind of point out to like where the other outcroppings are, and like here, and like wondering, and then does like the eye motion to like maybe we should check those out, make sure that we don't get flanked.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe go just follow the tracks around.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Christina's gonna look for some oil and the
smoke and Tenzin behind you. You hear a really loud screeching noise. And you look back, and Christina's at the cart investigating it, casting mending, looking at it, and got the axle working, and kind of rolls it just to see if it's working. And the other axle just makes this horrible grinding screech noise across the she stops immediately, like whoa.
Gordon is startled.
Christina, you learn a couple of things looking over this cart. One, yeah, it's got basically no grease on it. You were able to repair the fractures that you could see in the axles, and so it seems like it would roll again. But the whole thing is just horribly lacking grease. You also recognize the braking mechanism on it. Looks relatively solid, but it does look very old. So there might be a small chance of the brakes could be going bad as well. And that's a little beyond the skill of mending for the brakes. Not the axle, but the brakes are a little beyond the mending skill. But you might be able to do some other sort of repair or something. But those, 2 big things you noticed. It's not greased, and yeah.
So I like to look for grease for the wheels and any replacement spare parts for the brake system in the tool shed.
Okay. Takes a couple minutes, but yeah, you're able to find spare parts for all of that and some grease. Big buckets of it. Yeah, supply shed has all that in there. Tenzin conveniently knocked the door down for you.
Yes. So I would like to apply the grease to the
Tenzin
axles.
sneaks back out after the screeching and like waves his arm and says, "Stop, no, cut it, kill it." Like, no, way too loud. And then he kind of holds one finger up to his lips, like the shushing noise, and then uses 2 fingers to pantomime walking along the tracks instead. And he kind of like wildly waves away against the cart, being like, "No, we shouldn't use this."
Smoke is just making sure she's not standing on the cart, so that if something starts rolling, she's not in the way.
Tenzin will stand in the way so that if it does start rolling, he will block it.
Yeah.
Standing here, do I get a good view of like this alcove right here? Like there's nothing in there?
That alcove, I believe, is a. I believe that's just a stopping point. Like it's just there's a you can alter the direction of the tracks to go down or to halt here, and so I believe that's just a
It's a runoff.
market stopping point.
It's probably a safety thing in case something goes wrong. They probably just flip it over once they pass. So that if they forget to block
before
it rolls
Smoke
that
does the
one over
entire
bottom.
dungeon, I want to find out what everyone's doing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over to that little pathway and look over and down over the ledge, I guess. Here.
I've kind of just been waiting for Smoke to come back and see what happens.
Okay, so Christina's repairing the cart. Tenzien is silently screaming not to repair the cart. Gerald is having a picnic outside.
Yeah.
The professor's going one way, Smoke's going the opposite direction. Do I have it all straight?
Sounds good.
Pretty much.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Tenzin keeps like waving at the rest of them to like follow the same path that he and Smoke have already kind of looked down. And then he just again pantomimes being silent.
The carts, the tracks do slope down fairly steeply. Like you're kind of at the highest point right now, and this walkway is the kind of the highest point. But as it curves, it definitely goes down. It loops around maybe 2 full loops, 2.5 full loops, and has to descend 250 feet while doing so. So it's a pretty steep downward slope. But you're just wanting to walk it. Okay. Smoke that alcove. Yeah, it's a stopping point for the cart. Like maybe they were mining out that direction or something.
Cool. Also, ever since that loud screech, do I hear any like movement or anything like that that would indicate someone is also making their way up?
Double checking where all the things are in this dungeon real quick. They stand there. Okay. Okay. And Professor, you're heading up this path here?
Yep.
Okay. Smoke, as you're heading deeper into the mine, if you could make me a second stealth check, please. 16. Okay. Okay. You rolled. I rolled a 16 as well, so you just made it. That was your stealth, and you had a 23 perception earlier. Oh, that was before the screech. Yeah, one more perception while we're at it. Okay, cool. You don't hear any movement or scrambling or anything, but as you're kind of slowly making your way down, because you rolled so high, you do notice a couple of little scaly figures peeking their heads out from an upper ledge, just kind of silently watching what's going on. See them peeking out right over here.
Oh boy.
Two little kobolds, kind of standing near some old crates, on a lower. Well, I say upper ledge, but they're technically a little lower than you, but the ground kind of slopes up there a bit, and you see a second minecart station or like staged there for descent into the mines. They're just kind of watching you. They don't seem to have seen you, but you see them kind of peeking up and looking up around warily due to the screech earlier. So they are kind of observing the chamber above them, so to speak.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, unless I make a mad dash back to the other group, there's not a way for me to let them know. So,
Right. Professor, you were heading forward over the stairwell. Was Thoridne coming with you? Thoridne, you going?
Yes.
Like, I
I'll go.
literally want to stop right here on this square.
Okay.
So we're going to the left down the tracks, but the professor wants to see this bridge real quick, right? Oh, I'm moving on my own volition.
you have no control of your body.
I know, I'm being dragged.
You guys are kind of seeing the highest point of this chamber as well.
Uh-oh.
The giant pit opens up below you. Gerald, that's fine as well. If I could have the three of you stealth for me, please. Well, unless you're not stealthing, that's fine.
I wasn't
that's up
planning
to
on
you,
stealthing.
but
I feel like I should have, but I probably was not stealthing either.
I mean, the first
I
I get a
don't
glimpse
even
down
know
the
why
hallway,
I
and I
just- Oh, that's why he's... Okay, I see what... I understand now what happened. Okay.
And seeing these two kind of pop out, can Smoke just ready an arrow just in case these kobolds start getting amped up or look like they're about to call for help?
ready an arrow?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Holding your ground there. Yeah, you're kind of tucked into some of the shadows over there. Yeah, Thoridne, you come and look. The wooden walkway here, Thoridne, Professor, Master Dwarves. You come to the top here. The wooden walkway is missing a handful of planks, but what is there looks fundamentally solid. It's still a pretty good walkway.
Dwarves didn't build this.
You can see it kind of curves around that central pillar there. And then beyond that, you can see what do you call it? You can see a couple of passages down below where the mine splits off. You can kind of see one down here. A number of crates and barrels are piled up there, as well as some kind of stairwell. The elevation's weird, but the track is below you here, but then the stairwell starts to climb back up. You're kind of at one of the highest points here. You can kind of look down. Down below, you also see a number of tunnels and offshoots at lower elevation, like where the minecart loops around again. You can see it kind of spiral down all the way to the bottom of the pit, 250 feet below you. If the two of you make a perception check.
Perception check. Ciao.
Yeah, we'll have Thoridne make one too.
Perception?
Yeah.
Can do. 14.
Okay. As you're looking around at all this, neither of you see the kobolds that Smoke saw.
Team Dwarf.
So there's still really no signs of life here, necessarily. Yeah. But you have a pretty good view of everything. And that walkway goes somewhere.
What's in the barrels right here next to us?
Barrels next to you? A number of... one of the barrels holds some old kind of rotted food. Like maybe it was here for... there's cheeses and stuff, but it's just been so long that it's all gone horribly stale and bad. The other one has tools, has pickaxes, shovels, long pikes.
Is this
some
pickaxe
kind
better
of
than my
straight iron-
pickaxe? Oh, sorry.
You have a pickaxe? I thought you had a sledgehammer.
I have a pickaxe and a sledgehammer.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Probably not. Like the workmanship on the head might be a little better, but the handle is definitely rotted.
Ah.
And then like some just straight iron bars that you might know the function of, but it seems like they might be used in the tracks somehow.
I would like to. How many iron bars are there?
In this barrel, maybe like 3.
Great.
Amongst the other tools.
I take 2 of them.
Okay, they're about 4 feet long, and maybe 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
Yeah, I sling my backpack off, put it down, and put them on one side so they stick out above my head.
Sure. Excellent. Okay, who's making a move? Smoke, you're being tense over there. Christina, are you still working? You still hoping for the cart to do things? Or
If we need it will be available. Do I need to, what rolls do I need to make for the cart repairs?
For the cart repairs, maybe just like
Could Tenzien try to stop him? Or stop Christina? Excuse me.
I mean, but you could ask.
And he's actively waving at you. Stop messing with this, and come this way. So, yeah, and if you ignore him, I guess he'll slightly get in your way. It's stop messing with this. Walk. Don't use the cart.
Well, I guess that's up to you, Christina. Do you stop?
Yeah, my screen blacked out for some reason.
Your screen blacked out?
Yeah, okay, there it is. I just had to reload Foundry.
Weird. Sorry, Tenzin, I'm moving you to troubleshoot something. It's so weird. What is that about?
Okay, so I'm able to see...
That is the weirdest feature. Okay. Jason, I didn't know this. So Christina doesn't have dark vision. And Tenzin happens to be standing in a bit of darkness based on the wall setup and the light sources. And so Christina, if I click on her vision, she can see Gerald and you and whatnot, but she just gets an indicator that someone is where Tenzin is, but it actually grays it out and doesn't show her Tenzin.
Oh.
Here, I'll post this picture. That is so weird. I thought it was a bug. I'm so sorry, Christina. I got totally derailed by.
I do not see Tenzin trying to hand signal me to stop.
Well, it's in dim light, you would see him there. Yeah, okay. And then Tenzin becomes visible once he steps into the light. That's so weird.
That's intriguing.
That must be a new feature.
I was wondering what the hell I was looking at, because I did not know.
That must be a new feature.
I guess that's to give you the ability to say it's a silhouette.
There's someone there without revealing what it is?
Yeah, so if you're looking at it, you see light behind them.
Huh. Okay, I'm sorry. Totally derailed on the minecart adventure. But yes, back to your roleplay. So, Christina, you're fixing the cart?
Yeah, but she is going to attach the bottle of grease to her belt, because who knows, a bottle of grease might come in handy.
Sure. You now have grease.
Just throw some butter on it.
Yes.
If Carmen was here, she could help you with that.
She would. Happily.
Tenzin might eat it.
Throw some mayonnaise on it.
She would not allow that.
Yes.
So Tenzin then, seeing that Christina has stopped, will then try and quietly sneak back to Smoke. So I don't know where this would maybe sit with Thoridne and the professor walking off. Maybe it's at the same time.
Christina brings out her crossbow and then will try and join the group sneakily.
Tenzin, I have concerns.
sometimes that's all I rolled a natural 1. What do you expect from me? I'm not a halfling.
Leave it to all
Halflings
3
are the
dwarves to
superior
just
short race.
bumble all the stealth.
This is why halflings are the superior short race.
Ugh.
Anyway, okay, so Christina's going with the professor direction. Gerald, you're going professor's direction as well, or are we just peeking? Tenzin is heading up that way.
Gerald will follow Tenzin.
Follow Tenzin? Okay. Thoridne, Professor, were you wanting to cross the walkway, or you were just coming up to get a view? What are you thinking?
I was under the assumption we were getting a view. And that was it.
Let me know where you're going.
So this is on the professor about what he wanted to do when he came here. Because that's why I was following him. I figured it was like, oh, he wants to go get a little look-see. I was like, I might as well join him, make sure nothing too much trouble happens.
I wanted to get a view of the what we're getting into, so we knew what we needed to do if we needed to get out of here in a hurry.
Okay. Sounds good.
It might be worthwhile to put a pit in and some rope and throw it over and rappel down.
Oh, like right here?
So you're gonna start securing a rope?
Crap, that's what I meant to buy while we were in town. Shoot. It was a climber's kit.
I'm contemplating it. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do it.
Okay. Tenzin, Gerald. Gerald, are you stealthing or just following Tenzin? He seems kind of loud.
Yes. Seeing how loud Tenzin's being, I'm not going to bother stealthing.
The 2 non-stealthing people, like, just as bad, just stomping their way towards
the hidden person.
Yeah,
right.
towards smoke.
I was trying. It's just it didn't help. The helmet got knocked off my head. It bounced off the rail.
He tripped over his own feet. Helmet went falling. It's a whole thing.
It's not like he's pleased about this,
Okay. Christina, and it might just be Christina.
Oh, Nathan, can I get a token for Vorn?
Oh goodness, yes.
Isn't he a large creature?
Yes.
Oh boy, look at that.
There is no such thing as stealth, only presence.
That beautiful robot man right there.
He's my beefy boy.
What you need to do is get the spell that animates objects with sentience.
Oh my god.
I believe
Christina
the rules are
and
you can cast
Thoridne.
it for like a full year on it, which is expensive. It becomes actually sentient forever.
Christina and Thoridne, could you make me perception checks, please?
Perceptions. I can do that. Is it better
Oh,
this
nice.
time? It's much better this time. My eyes see all. Oh, here it comes. Choo choo.
Oh god.
That cracks me up every time. I'm so happy for that.
Gerald, is Vorn coming with you?
Yes, he is.
I just hear the Thomas the Tank Engine from the other room.
All right. As the 3 of you begin making your way towards smoke, you all hear a light chittering. You all hear this. You start hearing a light chittering. Smoke. It's the 2 kobolds over hiding in the corner. They see the big dwarf and the tall human and the even taller what the fuck is that, and and they start chittering at each other. Christina, it's a little muffled just at the angle. They're down below you guys. You can't quite make out what they're saying. Thoridne, though, you start hearing it. It's in Draconic.
And I know a Draconic. Ha.
Yes. You can start to make out what they're saying as they're chittering. They're going, oh, we did. Oh my God, that thing is big. Can we? Ooh, we need to take him down below, right? Yeah. Okay. Here. You watch and start screaming if they get closer. I'm gonna go warn him. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna
And
shoot
one of them
the one that
starts-
runs.
I was to say,
Thoridne is the only person
that.
that hears the words. You don't understand what they're saying.
No, but I had a ready action for when one of them started moving. Remember?
I'm going to hear that. I'm going to point them out immediately to the rest of the group that's at least just right here. I'm going to try to do it kind of cush because I don't think that they've seen us.
You hadn't even noticed them there until you started hearing them, and you're like, wait,
whoa,
what?
what? And I hear one of them's about to like try to flee, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to tense up. I'm going to let the others know that are just right here. So it's going to be Christina and the professor, and be like, and point them out. I will point them out and be like, There's 2 kobolds over there. One of them noticed us. They're about to run. One of them's going to run to warn one of the others.
Can I take a 5
smoke?
foot? Hearing this, can I take a 5 foot step over to the edge to look down and see who he's pointing at?
Yeah. Take your step.
Just
Well, because you could see the barrels from where you were, but getting over to that edge, that closer look, especially hearing the noises, you see the 2 kobolds kind of tucked in behind there.
great.
Smoke, go ahead and take your shot. The one that started moving is the southern one. And he was going to move further back into the tunnels. If that makes sense. So south of where he's at.
Oh God, we see that shooting across. Just
all right.
Smoke has had the biggest eyes. Her eyes have been so dilated.
Right, so dilated.
All right.
Well,
In what will probably be the smallest encounter ever, y'all just want to roll me initiative real quick?
sure.
Just to determine order in case things happen. Smoke, you hit him, so you can roll your damage. If you'd like to.
I'm assuming that's sneak attack too, because they
you a
definitely
rogue?
didn't know that you were there, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, you were hidden, Smoke. Nobody else was, but you were. 8 and 10, 18. Dunk! And mid-sentence, as he's like, yeah, okay, here we go. I'll go let him know. Arrow just gets him in the throat, and he just collapses to the ground.
All right.
That's got to be the scariest thing for the other kobold. It's like, oh my fuck.
Sure.
Especially because they saw a lot of you, they did not see Smoke. So
Didn't see the tiny kitty.
Until it's too late.
Arrow from the darkness.
okay. The other one freezes for a moment, but you can tell he's about to start panicking. He screams on initiative 4.
Okay.
So,
Oh no.
Thoridne, you're probably the quickest to react, especially because you know what they're planning to do.
Mhm.
What do you want to do with this guy? Well, it's your turn, I guess.
I can't reach him with melee or anything like that, but I can certainly Sacred Flame him.
From there, so you are on a higher elevation, and he's kind of tucked in. There's a little bit of
It's
like
60
opening.
feet.
You might have to. No, I'm saying line of sight though. You might have to move
Oh,
just a little bit
that's
to
fine. I can
get
do that.
eyes on him. Yeah.
Easy.
Professor can see him from the edge. You're having trouble with it with line of sight there.
Okay. Well, screw it. I'll move on to the bridge.
Okay.
The
And
bridge
then
collapses.
Oh
Right.
God. Well, bye. Do I have
Bye.
It was fun, guys.
feather? I don't have
Jerks
feather
get
fall.
past.
Oh
Oh no.
no, I don't think so.
No, the bridge is fine. Yeah, it's
Okay.
sturdy.
But I need him to make a. I think was it Wisdom saving throw?
Dex.
For
save right there,
Sacred
yeah.
Flame, dex save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15.
Cool.
Does he make it?
Oh, wait. Can I make these reveal? 3.
Oh, only a 3.
Only a 3.
Okay, he's gonna take 2d8 radiant damage.
7.
I feel like that could have been better, but 7 radiant damage. Whoosh.
The flames encompass him. You can see him like trying to pat it out. and he looks very scarred, panicking over there. Doesn't quite kill him though.
Yeah, no, I didn't assume it would, not with that low of
yeah.
damage. But somebody's about to kill him.
And Smoke, you go next after you reacted.
Can I bonus action hide to try to give myself advantage, or?
Sure. Yeah, you're Ooh.
Your fur.
Maybe not here. Now that you're kind of giving away, I don't know how would you hide? What would you hide behind? You were kind of slinking down low, like moving slow enough to not be noticed, but now you're functionally out in the open. Now that you've given away your position. You know what? Actually, this pillar in the center is a solid pillar going all the way down. So I guess you could break line of sight, and go. You could go over a bit and like hide behind the pillar, and then bust out somewhere. Yeah. So if you break the line of sight, you could probably hide.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, roll your stealth.
Man, I didn't even bother changing the battle music for this. I'm just saying.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it's about to be over. All right. Yeah, you are hidden from him. I mean, basically, yeah, you just kind of run and kind of juke him out and then pop back over real quick and fire with advantage. An 11. Oh, my goodness. As the sacred flames writhe him, you can see the arrow was going to hit, but he jerks his nose up, and it goes right underneath his chin, clattering on the back wall.
That lucky son of a bitch.
Okay. Any movement or anything? Well, Professor.
Question, just logistics-wise, how far down is this track from the ledge that they're standing on?
That was actually my question I was about to ask.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, after circling around like that?
Also,
actually quite a bit.
Can I take more movement on my turn? Because that was just 20.
Yeah, you can take more movement. You can...
Okay. I'm going to use my feline agility too.
It actually probably from Thoridne and the Professor down to the Kobold. Yeah, that's probably something like 70 feet. I'm cool with your Sacred Flame because I didn't think about it, but yeah, that's actually probably quite a distance as it circles down.
That brings me to my next question. If I jump off the ledge and halfway down, can I Misty Step to a landing?
Okay, so you're Misty
like I'm literally just
stepping-
like walking off, and then when I'm like within 30 feet of the ground, I want to just be like, boop, and appear somewhere over here.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Wait, ping where you're going?
Well, yeah. So
Just right next to him, basically.
It's 30 feet from where I'm at, so I figure, yeah, if I there, that's 20 feet away from where I'm at.
I'll allow it because I think it's cool. Probably shouldn't mechanically, but I don't really care. I want to let it happen.
Thoridne, you look over the professor. The professor just kind of like walks off the edge.
Thoridne, for a split second, looks just like absolutely mortified at like, what are you doing?
Like something ready in action probably takes a reaction, but I don't really care right now.
Like I said, I could use all my movement in the Misty Step and be done with that.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. All right, you Misty Step over.
And then I want to punch him.
Okay. Make your literal unarmed strike.
Yes, I rolled a D&D Beyond on accident. I rolled a 16. I can re-roll over here if you want to see it.
Nope, 16's perfect.
Okay.
Because I can see it in D&D Beyond, so that's great.
2.
We can't hide anything from him.
You have a +4 to unarmed strike? What the hell is your strength?
My strength is a +1.
Good God. What is it proficiency? You're proficient with unarmed strikes? When did that happen?
I don't know.
Incredible. I don't really care. Even without you would still hit with a 12, so I don't really care. You rolled a natural 12, so.
Right. And I get 2 attacks per action.
Nice. Extra attack.
So, and then another swell movement. Can I grab my short sword out?
The first one hits. You hit him for 2 damage, I believe. It's
2
1
damage.
plus strength.
Yep.
Cool. All right, your second one.
And then with the 1 swell movement, can I pull the short sword off my side and like fling it up through him?
Sure.
Short sword.
A 10 does not hit, unfortunately.
Okay, but at least I'm threatening now.
You are. That was an interesting move. Gonk, anything for you?
Gonk is not going to do anything because it is.
Oh, wait, Stemby, remind me, does the Steel Defender roll its own initiative? I feel like Beowulf always
No,
went
it shares the same.
No, yeah, it goes at the end of his turn.
Okay. Oh, so that's literally, it didn't roll Christina, it just rolled Gonk. That's funny.
Christina, or yeah, it was probably.
So that is the Christina
highlighted
turn.
instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just burning Misty Step in game so I can track my those slots.
You probably had Gonk selected. Chris probably had Gonk selected when he rolled initiative, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
So this is actually Christina's turn. It's not just Gonk.
Oh, let's see here.
The hardiest
If I
kobold
move-
ever.
Here, do I have line of sight on the surviving kobold?
You'd probably need to step to the edge. 1 more step to the right.
Well, you can't be mad at me. My attack hit.
Hey now. Hey now.
I slapped him. All right.
Right.
And
not left.
Christina goes on top
Other way.
of the barrels to get a better angle.
Okay, just a reminder, it's about 70 feet down on top of the 45 across.
Okay, that should be within range of my light crossbow.
You need to be kind of closer to like the edge. It's hard to see down
other
that
way.
angle. Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay, so
You're that much
I
higher
needed
than where these
to
kobolds
move
are.
to the right.
Yeah, because it's also not it's not just this ledge, it's the ceiling over here. They're in kind of a tunnel opening.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
right, and then I'm going to try and shoot the kobold with the crossbow.
Nice. Pew pew. $14, perfect. And actually, I don't even care what the damage is as long as it's at least 1. So, and the kobold falls to the ground in the world's shortest combat.
Beautiful. Well done, team.
Yay!
I'm
Kobold
winning.
did not scream. Winning. The professor is now way down on the tracks. And Professor, from where you're standing, you can actually see behind you the tunnel continues down, and actually there's just a carved stairwell going down back there. Let me see, is there any other description I should give you about the landing you're on? No, just a couple kobolds. They're standing there. Frankly, they're not even armed. They're just standing there observing.
Well, they're dead.
The chamber. They're dead now. And you
Murdered
actually, and
some
you also see
children.
another ore cart tucked here on a staged landing.
Okay. Well, step inside the boxes and peer down and see. Oh, this stairwell seems to curve down.
You see a handful of. You see a little bit of light flickering up from the stairwell, like there might be some torches or a fire or something down there.
Gotcha. I would like to pick the kobolds up and walk and throw them in the minecart
Put them in the minecart. Okay.
while I wait on everybody else.
Tenzin
gonna
kind
wait
of
for-
motions for smoke and's like, "Hey, what's up here?" And like,
Yeah. And I was actually gonna describe more of that and describe more of everything, but it is 8:30. So, do y'all want to just call it here?
I think it's
And-
a good
and
I
stopping
think
Our
point.
Yeah.
next session, investigating weird side tunnels.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
I would love to be able to explore. We are very split apart though right now.
We really are. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's actually not that far down, but then I realized it's only like two circles of the cart, and it has to go descend like 250 feet. So
Holy-
it's actually a
Ooh.
pretty steep descent to the bottom of this pit, and it only goes around twice.
So, hang on, I'm curious. So, if we're here,
If someone could actually do the math to figure out the descent, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm just kind of improvising. I was like, I don't know, 70 feet maybe?
Oh, if it's got to go 200 and how many feet?
250 to the bottom of the pit.
250.
so basically,
And how
one loop around is 85 feet,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, 185 feet. Oh,
That's
sorry.
That does not make sense. You said how many loops? 2.5?
Yes, the purple circle, it goes around once, around a second time, and then like a quarter circle, and the very bottom of the track ends like right here-ish. Right where Tenzien is.
So one full loop around is 225 feet.
In
This thing
circum-
has like a grade of like 1.
Yeah. Because, yeah, that'd be like 120 feet.
No, but I mean, like where Thoridne is standing, how far down is it after one circle?
Well, that's what it's like about like 110 loss doing the loop around because you have like a quarter turn at the end there ish, or a third of a turn at the end. So it's like, 110 feet straight drop. But what he's saying is if it's 210 feet around, that's like a 2-to-1 grade. So it's like roughly a 30% downslope, which is very steep for anything.
Yes.
It is like if you were walking a 2-to-1 roof, you would almost fall off if you did not have very good feet. Like
Yes, it's a very steep grade in here.
Well, so it
Like I knew it intuitively, but I wasn't sure exactly what numbers that came out to.
okay, your distance down is your height. So your height is, you said 200?
no, your height is about 110. If you're doing a 2 1/3 loops to go a total loss of 250.
From the walkway to the bottom of the pit is 250.
I'm gonna go ahead and end stream.
Yeah. yeah.
We'll let you math in
Math.
Discord.
I was about to say, I don't think math is going to be entertaining for anybody.
For
Yeah,
some nerds, it might be.
We'll do math in Discord. It'll be fun.
Have a good night, stream.
Hi, stream.
All right.